Coming to you live from Angkasapuri, I'm Azlani, and this is Updates at Noon. Making the headlines today, chicken and egg supply shortage only temporary. And observe travel advisory to prevent road congestion. The current supply shortage of some raw materials such as chicken and eggs is only temporary, and the situation is expected to return to normal once the industries involved resume operations after the long Chinese New Year holidays. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry KPD and HEP Enforcement Deputy Director for Operations Shamsul Nizam Khalil said the projection took into account that many livestock farm workers were on long holidays in conjunction with the festival. He said based on KPD and HEP's monitoring, there is a shortage of raw material supply in some locations in the country due to many factors such as the industry is unable to meet the high demand and due to long holidays. However, this is a temporary situation as KPD and HEP and the Agriculture and Food Industry Ministry will work together to manage the situation. On the current increase in raw material prices, Shamsul Nizam said it was contributed by demand and supply factors in the market, in addition to the high transportation costs of imported raw materials. He said these are among the factors that contribute to the increase, and due to that, the government has to impose price controls. Plus, Malaysia Berhad advises all customers from North and South returning to Klang Valley to follow the Travel Time Advisory (TTA) and enter the highway before 9 a.m. for travels planned for this weekend. In a statement, the highway concessionaire said an increasing traffic trend was recorded on the second day of Chinese New Year when North-South Expressway saw a surge in traffic from all states. According to Plus Operating Officer Dato' Zakaria Ahmad Zabidi, the traffic patterns were expected to be repeated this weekend as most have taken extended days off from work and school holidays to begin their journey back to the Klang Valley. As such, the public is urged to plan their safe journey home by following the TTA. The statement said Plus has made preparations to ensure highway customers enjoy a comfortable journey to the city, with Plus Ronda teams assisting those who may encounter problems with their vehicles. Plus also collaborates with Traffic Police and Road Transport Department for enforcement along the highway, arranging RELA teams to facilitate traffic management at toll plazas and rest areas, as well as providing traffic information updates through Plus communication channels to provide assistance in case of eventualities. Highway customers are also advised to make sure their Touch and Go card or Touch and Go e-wallet for RFID transactions balance is sufficient to enjoy an interrupted journey at the toll plazas. Another 4 COVID-19 clusters involving educational institutions were detected in Sabah yesterday. According to State Local Government and Housing Minister Dato' Masidi Manjun, the new development brought the total number of education clusters in the state to 16. Dato' Masidi, who is also the Sabah COVID-19 spokesman, said the 4 new clusters were the Jalan Tandek and Jalan Taman Beringin clusters in Kota Marudu, the Jalan Pendidikan Ranau and Sungai Batang Batu 10 clusters in Sandakan. He said the Jalan Tandek clusters in that case was a 15-year-old male hostel student of Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tandek who was tested positive on 17th January. Dato' Masidi said the screening of 43 close contacts found 34 more positive cases, bringing the total number of cases detected involving the cluster to 35. He said all those who tested positive were in categories 1 and 2 and have been isolated as well as given further treatments. Sabah recorded 909 new infections yesterday, the highest daily count since 30th September last year, bringing the cumulative figure to 250,440. The government has no plans to introduce a specific SOP for Tarawih prayers in mosques and surahs during Ramadan this year. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Idris Ahmad, said the existing SOPs on congregational prayers in mosques and surahs were also applicable for Tarawih prayers. Among the existing SOPs for congregational prayers in mosque and surah is that all members of the congregation are required to bring their own prayer mat and to wear face masks. There should also be physical distancing of at least 1 meter apart when performing the prayer. Meanwhile, on the spread of a teaching involving the dreams of a man from Pakistan by a group known as Gerakan Akhir Zaman in the country, Idris said the Selangor Islamic Religious Department, JAIS, had been instructed to investigate the matter. Police uncover drug distribution activities following the discovery of methamphetamine and cash in a car involved in a road accident at Jalan Padang Gaung, Langkawi. Langkawi Police Chief ACP Syariman Ashari said a inspection on the car found drugs worth over 68,000 ringgit.
Dalam beg kedua, temui 4 paket plastik lutsina bersaiz sederhana dan 27 paket plastik lutsina bersaiz kecil berisi bahan kristal disyaki dadah jenis syabu dengan anggaran berat 690.30 gram.
ACP Syariman added that the 41-year-old suspect is currently being treated in hospital. Meanwhile, Langkawi Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department managed to arrest 6 men involved in the drug distribution ring. All suspects, aged between 22 to 44, are remanded for 7 days until 11th February. Still to come, national anti-corruption plan set to be reviewed. Stay tuned. The National Anti-Corruption Plan NACP 2019-2023, introduced 4 years ago, will be assessed on its implementation effectiveness from various angles. National Centre for Governance, Integrity and Anti-Corruption GIACC Director General Datuk Sri Muhammad Salihuddin Hassan said the centre has been collecting input from various stakeholders to assess the effectiveness of the NACP implementation. NACP 2019-2023 is the government's 5-year plan launched on 29th January 2019 to replace the National Integrity Plan PIN, which was launched in April 2004, outlining a long-term vision of anti-corruption action towards a corruption-free nation through the implementation of 115 initiatives. It is the first of its kind to cover issues of governance, integrity and anti-corruption in an integrated framework. Datuk Sri Salihuddin said the NACP 2019-23 was a living document introduced after the 14th general election, with emphasis on efforts to ensure Malaysia was known for its integrity and not corruption. He added that by taking into account various recent developments, including the findings of the Corruption Perceptions Index CPI 2021 on Malaysia's position, it was time to see the need to evaluate the existing plan. The CPI 2021 released by Transparency International Malaysia (TIM) shows that Malaysia is ranked 62, dropping 5 spots compared with 57 in 2020. Malaysia was placed 51 in 2019. Malaysia's score fell below the 50-point mark to 48 for 2021 from 51 in 2020 and 53 in 2019. Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA has begun further investigations into Maracop to review relevant documents to ensure that the company's management is always based on good governance. Its chairman Datuk Seri Azizah Muhammad Dun said MARA took a serious view of the unauthorized dissemination of internal administrative documents to the public, which has evoked a negative perception of MARA and its related subsidiaries. In a statement, she said that if there is any misconduct in the governance of subsidiaries under this agency, MARA will never compromise or protect any individual involved on the principle of upholding the value of integrity in carrying out the trust given. She said all Mara subsidiaries were regulated in accordance with the Companies Act 2016 and always prioritize high integrity practices in the organization. Dato Sri Aziza also denied the existence of abuse of power or mismanagement following an incident where internal documents of its subsidiary, which had gone viral on social media, claimed that there was an integrity issue involving some officers. That ends updates at noon. In our top story today, chicken and egg supply shortage only temporary. Tune in to News at 10 coming up at 10 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM. We'll leave you with the visuals of the Winter Olympics opening ceremony held last night. I'm Azlani. Have a pleasant weekend. Goodbye for now.